Good afternoon and welcome to our July SendMyAd webinar. My name is Herb Randall. I'm one of the developers and support techs at SendMyAd, and I'll take you through today some new features that we've added. You've probably noticed these because it's been, or some of these you may have noticed, because they've been in the application since our last update at least. So. But there's some issue features that one is a brand new feature that has to be enabled, and that's called the issue planning report. So if you don't see that, it's because you haven't subscribed to that feature. But it's a really interesting one, and we hope you'll find it useful. If at any time during today's webinar you have any questions, you can type those into the GoToWebinar client. And depending on what they are, I may tackle them as we're there, or we may come back at the end and address those. You may need to zoom your screen in order to see mine. I'm on a fairly large monitor. And let's get started. It actually will be a relatively short webinar, I think, this time around. So. Okay, so we're going to start with a couple of simple things to show, and one is that we've added some additional metadata fields in issues. So these are things that come in handy for some of the later features we'll talk about. So primarily doing reports. Later, we haven't added this yet, but maybe later on you might be able to search for these types of things with issues. So. I do want to show you a kind of a lesser known feature with issues, although it's been around for a long time. But a lot of times people access their issues by going first to your publication and then going to issues. And that's because it's a logical grouping and it makes sense. But we actually have a more efficient way of viewing issues if you're focused on issue tasks or you want to see an overview of all your issues. And that's just this little sub menu here under publications. If you go to issues, you have an interface here where you can see all of the issues without having to go into that each publication. And it also lets you do some bulk operations. So if you're not using this view, you can actually save yourself some time by not having to wait for the publication to show, but you can go directly to your issues. So, of course, you can view all of your issues in a list view. That gives you access to the quick start. I'm sorry, the quick search. So, I mean, here's kind of a nice thing that it would take you forever if you're just viewing things through the publications themselves. And that's just that I just focused on all of my issues for all publications who happen to have August in one of these fields, the ad, one of the dates. Okay, so it's a really quick way to sort of drill down and find what you need quickly. So if I go to this particular publication, I can then filter by issues that are visible, hidden, ones that are removed, ones that are coming up very soon. Based on dates, things that go on sale or that print. So it's a very handy way. If you're not using this, please give it a try because it really is very helpful. As I said, you can do some bulk items here. So for instance, if I have a couple old, really old issues I want to get rid of, I can remove them. I can disable entirely if they're still active for some reason. But lots of things that I can do here. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at an issue that I have, and let's take a look at some of the new fields. There's not many, but I want to point them out. So there's things like theme, okay? And again, it's just some text that you can enter. You can denote whether this is a regular or a special issue. Volume and issue, circulation, budgeted page count, UPC number. years, okay, and then you have issue details down here. Now those are all strictly metadata fields. Code can be important. For delivery, for instance, you can use that as a field when you're delivering. So if you refer to your issues with a short code, we can match that up with what you have. But we also now have some other items. There is a new tab here for budget, and I just put something in here for just to show you. But I can select manage cost types over here. And you can see this is the one that I added, and I've selected that I'm using this in this publication. Okay, I can selectively turn that on or off, and I can say whether that's an editorial cost or an ad cost. Okay. To add one, just whatever you want it to be. Let's say this is an editorial cost. Okay, now when I come back here, I can say that I can fill out my budgets. Okay, so easy enough to manage there. This third tab, deadlines, this is something that we covered in last month's webinar, and I'm just going to briefly review it because it comes into play when we get into the next couple of topics. So we have here this button that says Manage Publication Deadlines. Well, you can see that I have the image deadline, which you may or may not see. That's a feature-dependent thing. But you're probably used to seeing the issue ship date, the on-sale date, the cover date, and of course the very important dates for ad workflow, the materials due date, and the issue run date. Okay, those are all our stock deadlines. But you'll see that I have one up here called a legal deadline, and it's offset to be 3 days after the ad materials date. And sure enough, if I look at that, it's 12/30/2016, and it's automatically calculated when that should be. If I want to override that, I can type a value there and click the override button. Okay, now that makes an editable value, okay, and I can make it whatever I want. So, but that is my own custom deadline, which I can manage here. So I can add any one that I want here. I can select whether I want it to be used in this publication or not. This interface can actually also be accessed under the publication details in the actions menu. So, but here it's a shortcut because it's easier to get to when you're doing this. You can say that you want to add it to all publications or only use in this one. You can base it on another deadline. So you can base it on the issue run date, for instance, the ship date, or one of my other dynamic deadlines. So you can see that this can become very flexible. It's kind of like creating approvals for ads. You have this ability to make your own sort of workflow with these deadlines. So let's set it to be after the legal deadline. Let's make it 1 day after. Now, of course, my deadlines are sort of nonsensical here, but sure enough, you can see that the deadline falls 1 day after. And again, I can override it here if I want. So very, very flexible. And this is a new feature that we hope you'll find useful. Now, let's move on to creating issues automatically. So if we go to the actions menu in our list view, we have this item to create auto issues. And this will let us, let's see, let's pick another publication. Oh, sorry, let's go back to the one I was doing the deadlines in. We say how we want to name the issue automatically. So we can say that we want to base it on the on sale date, let's say. We can give it some prefixes for the name. Okay, and here we have, you can see the volume and issue number. And we have the option to increment those automatically. Let's make these quarterly. And we say how many issues we want to create. Let's go ahead and make 4. Okay. And now we're going to see that we have the ability to offset dates based on a base date. So let's say we're going to start with August 1st and then count out from there for all of the issues. So and you can see that those custom deadlines that I created also appear here. So they behave just like the fixed system deadlines. So they're sort of a first-class citizen in our list of deadlines. Okay, so let's create our issues. And you can see right here that I've got you can see that I've got my issues. Just wanted to filter them down here. And when I look, you can see the deadlines have been set according to how I created each one in my auto issue setup. Okay. So it's a very handy way of automatically creating a bunch of issues. So as we're looking at 2017 or maybe 2018 and you need to pull in a bunch of issues, this is a great, very easy way to do it. And then if you feel, these are just their regular issues, so you can come in here and you can change the name to make it more friendly, to make it what you want. But very, very easy to create auto issues. And the important thing is that it does pick up these new metadata fields, and it picks up the deadlines as well that are all new. So we've integrated that together. And you can see, for instance, that I told the volume and the issue number to increment. Okay, so it automatically keeps account of that for you. Okay, so the other place where these new fields come into play is in what we call the issue reports or issue planning reports. And this is the feature I said that we have to enable it for you. This is an add-on feature. So if you like what you see, please speak with one of us in support, or more properly, speak to your salesperson, and they can work out the details with you. Now, I do want to start this off by saying that this feature, it's brand new, and I would call it a beta feature. So as I've been working through and preparing for our seminar, we run into some small issues with it. So we've got some developer tickets open to polish this up, but I'll point those out as I come to them, just so you're aware. But the idea here is that you have a way of creating an editable report that is shareable, that you can just send someone a link and they can look to see these ad hoc reports that you want to create. And you're really only limited by your imagination with these. So let's show you how you can create a new report. So we've got under this actions menu, we have add report template. You just simply give it a name, and you have two options here right up front, and these can be edited later. So don't worry if you select the wrong thing. But private is, as you'd expect, it's a report that only you can see. If you don't turn that on, then other users in your organization should be able to see your report. Shareable just simply means that you can generate a URL, a link for this, and you can email it to somebody and they can see the report. Okay, so this opens up an interface, and we can rename it here if we want. I told you could re-edit the private and shareable settings. Those are there. Okay. We also can set the sorting. So we can say that we want to see the newest first based on the issue run date, or reverse that. We can sort by the ship date, or we can select this alphabetically. Okay. The report filters, we've defaulted to giving you one filter with the publication because that's the one that is most obvious. But the nice thing is that it can be multiple publications, and you can just simply go back to each of those choices in the publications menu, and it will add them as you select them in the menu. If you change your mind, just click the X and it'll go away. You can also add additional filters. So you can say that you want the run date to be greater than, let's say, the first of the year. Okay. And you can keep adding filters. You can remove them if you change your mind. Just simply hit add filter, set it. Okay, if you change your mind, delete there. Okay. Obviously, the fewer filters, the more you're going to see. So as you're developing these, you may want to start out with a broader set of results and then add filters to narrow results down. So just a good practice with these. Displayed fields, this is what the report will show. And we default to the two, again, the most obvious things that everyone is probably going to want, which is your issue name and publication name. But you can change these so that you label them anything you want. Okay, it's an issue report, so maybe it's obvious that it's the name of the issue. Just click the plus arrow to add a field underneath the current field. So code is a good one to have. Okay, and then let's say I decide that I want the code to be up by the name. I can just simply drag and drop that little icon here, grab that, and then you can reorder those as you want. Okay, I think that's enough for now to get started, so let's hit close. And our report immediately runs, and it shows us our results. I can resort this by clicking the column heading. Okay. You can see that, based on these, it looks like these are all from this year, which is how I was filtering. Okay. And a neat thing that I can do is just click any of these and I can go directly into the issue. So if I want to change anything in here, I can do that directly from here. and you can see that the change updates there when I update the report. So this is a great way for you to basically take this list and make it be anything that you want. And you can have some very complex logic in here for these, and make it something that you can pass on to other people in your organization or outside of your organization. So if you want to share it, you can go into the Actions menu to show link to report. You can right click to copy the report. This is the URL, and this can be sent to anyone. They don't need to be logged in. They can just click it and they'll see this. And the neat thing is they also have some ability here to, for instance, they can filter. Okay, so they can manipulate their view of the report from that point of view. Okay. It doesn't affect the report back here. Again, this is just a shareable view that you've sent off to someone, so they can use it how they want, and they're able to download it. When they download it, it's just a file that they can open in Excel, and you can see that what they downloaded was their filtered view. Back in the application in SendMyAd, there's also the ability to download the view, and you'll notice that I'm seeing the entire thing, and so my report, of course, when I download it, will be larger. Okay, so it always reflects what you're viewing. Okay, well, let's say this is great, but I want to add some more fields, or maybe I'm not happy with one of the other settings here. Maybe I want to add a publication, or I want to change the date. That's all fine. I can come in here and add other things. And you'll notice that my custom deadlines are here as well. Okay. So those features really do go hand in hand. Okay. These are things that are specific to you, to your organization, and you have a way now of linking those and making a report that makes sense to your organization, to people that you work with. Okay, let's go back up here and add the issue materials due date. And the run date is the other one that's usually critical to know. Okay, and you can see that it immediately updates here for me. Again, I can resort by any of these if I wish. Okay. Now, I want to show you, there's this pop-up menu here, and this is one of our features that needs to be worked on a little bit more. But since I have it here, I will show you. So I can set the color of a column easily. Okay, so if you want to highlight one of the fields or one of the columns, that's the way to do it. The bug is just that it's tricky to get this menu to appear. So it's supposed to be, if you hover your mouse, it should appear, but it's a little finicky. It doesn't always do it. Okay. The other thing is we have an edit mode, and that's not yet working. I don't think it's been implemented yet, but eventually the idea is that you'll be able to toggle this on And then basically this would behave as a spreadsheet. You'd be able to tab through and change things right from within this interface. So that will come in a later update. But again, if you are able to come up with a report that makes a lot of sense to you, that's useful, the combination of adding issues automatically, and then being able to go in and just bulk update stuff as you wish, it's a really powerful feature. The last thing I'll show you in here is the field highlighter, which lets you just go through here and highlight things, and they stay highlighted. So if I reload the report, you can see that it keeps those. And I believe if I load it, also the shareable view will retain that. So, this is really becoming a full-fledged reporting utility for you. And, you can say, these things are important. Take a look at this. This column is important and these values stick out. Are these right? Do we need to revisit these deadlines? These are issues that are coming up fast that we need to plan for. All of this is meant to be something that you can quickly generate reports as you need. You can keep them around forever and just always use them, and they just update with the most current information. Maybe they're just one-time things. You make a report, you send them off, maybe you download it and you're done. You can do that right from here. Just remove it and it's gone. Okay, so we hope that you'll find this useful. It's like I said, it's an add-on feature. So if it's interesting to you, just let your sales rep know, and they can work out the details with you for us to enable it. If you have any questions about today's webinar, or if you have any suggestions for next month, let us know. We're always looking for topics that will be of interest to you. There can be new features, or it's usually pretty popular when we do tutorials of even older features where we kind of go deeper into depth in some topic. So just drop us a line if there's something that you'd like to see next time. Thanks very much for your time. I hope you found it useful, and we look forward to seeing you next month. Thank you.